Would anyone be interested in being my companion? I'm asking for a friend. What's going on, YouTube? Today we're going to be breaking down companions. The first thing that we're going to talk about is a brief intro slash which ones do you have access to based on which DLCs, chapters, and things that you own. Then we're going to break down which one is the best one for you to use based on the perks and things that they have active. Then we're going to talk about different traits and armor, the things to look for, slash how to build certain companions. And then we're going to wrap up with some easy leveling tips for your companion. It's going to be an action-packed video. We don't do very long intros, so if you wouldn't mind, hit the like and subscribe button. And also, there'll be chapters below if you're interested in jumping around in the video. I won't be offended, and let's jump into the introduction. And so what exactly is a companion? Well, to put it simply, a companion is how they pretty much have been in every single-player RPG that Bethesda has released. If you've had Lydia in Skyrim, you've had a companion inside of ESO. They act very similarly. And if you've not played those games, they're an NPC follower that can pretty much do any type of content with you, with the exception of PvP. So you can't take them into Cyrodiil to backpack you. But what you can do, however, is take them to solo types of content, world bosses. You can take them in the Infinite Archive. You could even use them as your dungeon tank if you really wanted to try to do that. Companions were a great addition to the game that also made the world feel a little more alive. And the nice thing too is by having a companion out, you get access to their unique perks, which can give you unique rewards. Also, it can give you access to finding companion gear in the overworld, which can sell for quite a bit of money. So there are a lot of reasons to use a companion, but the best one is that anything that you would be doing solo or on your own, it'll be done faster and more efficiently with a companion. And currently, there are 6 companions in the game, with 2 more on the way. And you may actually already have access to these companions depending on which things that you own. For example, if you own Blackwood or ESO Plus, you can get Bastion and Muri. If you have High Isle, either the chapter or ESO Plus, you can get Ember and Isabel. If you have the Necrom DLC, you can get Sharp as Night and Azander, or if you have ESO Plus, you will get it for free. And finally, the 2 new ones, Tanlorian and Zenith Var. If you have Update 44, when it comes out, you can either get them for free if you have ESO Plus, or you can buy them individually through the Crown Store. Now we're going to break down each individual one, but if you're ever curious if you have access to one, come down into your collection systems, come into your allies, go to companions, and you can cycle through them. Also, if you see one that says not collected and you have the ability to get them, you can actually press A on them and it will take you to the quest that will then get you unlocked. And before we go into each individual companion, I wanted to show off how the companion overview looks. That way, as we talk about all these concepts, you get to see what it looks like inside an actual companion, just in case you don't have one. So, XP, you can see my Isabel is maxed out on XP. It goes from 1 to 20, not 1 to 100, 1 to 50, or 1 to 160, just 1 to 20. Then you can see companion perk. Isabel's Grace is her perk, and you have a chance after killing a world boss to get a pack that contains additional loot. Isabel's perk is very middle of the road. It's not great, it's not bad. It's probably considered mediocre. You're not going to be, making tons of extra gold using Isabel like you will with some companions, but it's also not something that does nothing. You are getting extra rewards, which is always good. And notably, too, the reason why that in this companion rapport bar is important is because certain companions have really great perks, right? Oftentimes, you may even want to have multiple of those perks at once. But here's the thing, you can only ever have one companion out at a time. But here is the little sticky wicket. If you have their achievement completed, you gain an account-wide passive where you will always have their companion perk activated, meaning that Isabel, right now for me, does not need to be out because I have all of her stuff maxed out for me to gain her companion perk, which is huge because oftentimes there are some really good ones that you might just naturally want to have, and you don't want to have to keep going through your radial wheel to switch between all of your companions. And we're also going to break down, as we talk about individual companions, their rapport, but it's very straightforward. If you've ever played an RPG before and you see the so-and-so liked that, so-and-so didn't like that, it's literally that simple, but expanded, because some will like if you pick up plants off the ground. Some will hate if you pick up plants off the ground. Some will like if you kill world bosses, some will like if you steal from people, some will hate if you steal from people. We'll break that down when we go through each individual one, but just know that's how you level up their rapport. I'm also going to quickly show how all of their leveling works, so you can see everything class skill wise also goes to 20. Weapon lines also go to 20, and they can wear any weapon pretty much that a normal human can wear, but notably, companion gear is different. We'll show equipment off here next. But when it comes to the type of weapons, they can still use ones that reuse. Light, medium, and heavy armor, same concept. In fact, if you're wearing 3 or more of a piece, that's what causes you to be using that line. Then you've got the guild lines, which notably only go to 10, which is weird because then their Breton line only goes to 1, which is their race line. So how you level up the Fighters Guild, Mages Guild, and Undaunted is exceptionally simple. You just do their daily quest with your companion. If you've never done the Undaunted daily, it should take you to, I believe, a public dungeon. It's not their actual daily pledges. Fighters Guild will have you go and kill some anchors, and Mages Guild will send you off to go pick up a random relic in the middle of the wilderness. And then every time you do that, your guild line will go up by 1 level. Next, I just wanted to quickly show companion gear, but it's very, very straightforward. There's not that many traits. And as we talk later in the video about how to build companions, it's very easy because guess what? If you increase your max health, that's kind of how you make a tanking companion. There's also another one that you can weave into that reduces their damage taken, but it's very straightforward to build a companion when it comes to their gear because they only have 1 trait, and there's no 5-piece sets, there's no monster sets. You literally just have to worry about what trait you want to use, and then if you're doing apparel, you just have to pick between do you want it to be light, medium, or heavy. And if you're using a tank, you probably want it to be heavy. If you want a healer companion, you probably want it to be light. And then if you want DPS, you want it to be medium. You generally don't want a DPS companion because they're only probably giving you about 5 to 10,000 additional DPS. Whereas if you have them tanking and you can just solely focus on dealing damage and not have to even worry about healing yourself, you can usually do more damage output yourself. So I would encourage everybody to make a tank companion, and healers are not a bad alternative as well. And notably, it seems as though the higher tier monster that you kill, such as trial bosses, then below that dungeon bosses, then world bosses, and delve bosses, the higher thing that you kill with your companion out, the better chance you have to get companion gear, which even if you don't want to use it for your characters, guess what? It still sells for a pretty penny. So it's worth having a companion at least out, flipping and flopping around on the battlefield. And first, we have, in order of release, Bastion Halifax. Bastion gets a lot of flack in the community because he's arguably one of the goofiest companions in the game for his perk, because when you loot potions from chests and monsters, they have a 30% chance to be increased in their effects. And I don't know how to explain this to you, but quite a few problems with this. One, you're not picking up potions very often just by wimbly-bimbly walking around with Bastion. 2, even if you do have to happen to find some potions, 30% chance is not very high. And then 3, the ones that you do get are improved, you still probably won't use for any content. Now, to give Bastion some credit, he actually has a lot of active skills and things that make him unique as probably pound for pound the best tank in the game. So as long as you're overlooking his perks and maybe you level up fully and complete and 100% the other companions to get their perks to be passive, then you can run Bastion. But unfortunately, his perk is pretty goofy. And just to quickly break down his rapport, he hates stealing, thieving, killing innocent people, but he generally likes the Mages Guild. He likes going to the Mages Guild, doing their daily quest, going to Ivea or Iteum. Important to note, though, that these do have cooldowns, which you can see on screen. He likes gathering Sigic portals, helping at random encounters, crafting stations, going to those, scrying. He likes reading random books, killing worm cultists, killing bandits, and killing night runners in Somerset. Next up, also one of the 2 original companions from the Blackwood expansion is Miri. Now, Miri is notably better because every time you loot treasure chests, you have a 30% chance to get in access to a little hidden compartment that gives you bonus rewards. And oftentimes, this is significantly better than getting random potions because you're going to get things like gold, which is more helpful. So Miri is obviously more used for her companion perk than Bastion is, but I will warn you that oftentimes these perks that originally came out, and as you see for the later companions, they really do get better and better. Miri's is definitely a nice passive one to have, but it's definitely not essential, and it's not a companion that I would encourage you guys to 100% just so that every time you loot a chest, you have a 30% chance to get a couple additional components, because realistically, most of the time, you're probably going to get items worth maybe 250 gold, which certainly can stack up over time, but if your investment is to max out a companion just to get that small investment, wouldn't worry about it. In fact, if you really wanted to do that, just put her on your radial wheel and pull her out every time you're about to open a treasure chest. And for her rapport cheat sheet, she hates when you kill friendly NPCs using the Blade of Woe, anything Dark Brotherhood related. She also hates using torch bugs, picking up butterflies, any of that nonsense. She does like, however, if you complete the Ashlander daily quest, Fighters Guild daily quest, entering Daedric Del's public dungeon, antiquity excavation, visiting the Brass Fortress, Sigic portals, reading books, crafting alcohol, specific pets, killing snakes, killing goblins, and a couple other miscellaneous things that you can see on screen. Next up, we have our first companion from High Isle, which is Ember. Now, Ember loves stealing, and her perk goes with it, because as you pickpocket people, you have a chance to find an additional hidden wallet, which contains generally more gold and a couple other assorted things. What's helpful about this, though, is that being a little thiefy boy and pickpocketing and stealing is one of the best gold methods in the game if you don't want to interact at all with the guild trader system. And a lot of people who love to play solo hate the guild trader system, so she is the perfect way to kind of get a free additional bit of gold every time you're going out and pickpocketing people. And she's great for it. There's a bit of a twist, though, that we need to break down next, though. And that's because she does not like getting caught stealing. So if you have her out and you're getting caught pickpocketing, taking safe boxes, stealing from containers, killing NPCs, getting killed by a guard, etc., she's not going to be very happy. So you just need to keep that in mind. But she does love some Mages Guild dailies, Thieves Guild's Heights without time bonus, High Isle Daily Delve, Harvesting Runes, Killing Wolves, Killing Werewolves, Looting a Thieves Trove, winning a game of Tales of Tribute. Thankfully, if you lose, you don't lose any points. Choosing the flee option when being caught by the guards, pickpocketing a guard, successfully getting away, invoking the Clemency perk, entering restricted area, fencing a purple quality stolen item, selling a purple quality item to a regular vendor, and so on and so on. And she is actually pretty good for what she wants to do. Her perk is not overwhelming in that you definitely need it in the game, but you can definitely see that this companion is very thematic to essentially a specific type of content and playstyle that a lot of people really jive with. And if you want to get into stealing, just make sure you have already a decent pickpocketing chance before you make her upset. But as you successfully complete a lot of your little thieving things, she will come to like you, and you'll get a little extra gold for it. Next up is Isabel, which we've broken down quite a bit already because she was our example test dummy. Notably, too, she is probably the second best tank in the game. She may fall to third with one of the newer companions coming out. But overall, she's a great companion, even though she's hiding right behind me right now. Let's talk about her rapport. Because Isabel is easy to please. Just don't kill innocent people, don't steal anything, don't enter a Dark Brotherhood refuge, and don't go to an Outlaw's refuge. And then pretty much everything that she likes, you would pretty much expect. For example, do Balrog's Delve daily, complete a High Isle world boss daily, kill any world boss, kill any Delve boss, kill any public dungeon boss, craft something sweet, craft something with a blacksmith, complete a volcanic event, visit the Undaunted Enclave, talk to an alliance leader, which I don't know why she really likes that, but hey, she did come out with High Isle, talk to Lyris, she loves Lyris, accept a duel request, and so on and so on. She's pretty easy to please and level up, and then the other nice thing too that you can do once you fully level the companion is you can actually put them in your home, and you can have them walk around like any of the other assistants, or other people that you can put inside your house as well. So it's just a fun little bonus. Next up is Azander. When searching containers, it bestows a chance to discover resource portfolios. These portfolios can contain crafting recipes, treasure maps, research nodes, survey reports, and other documents of value. I don't need to tell you this because this is cracked. I'm going to tell you anyway because this is pretty cracked. For example, you could be looting the newest zone in the game, Gold Road, and you can gain access to a bunch of additional loot while you're still getting rare furnishing plans. I've gotten great treasure maps from him, crafting recipes, quick sell items, He is essential if you want to farm the most valuable places in the game, because usually the most valuable places in the game are new furnishing plans that come out, and they come out in a new zone, and you have to go around and pick up, cupboards and trunks in different areas, and he is the perfect companion for this. The nice thing too is that if you want to level him up, you can certainly do that, and you can max him out and gain his passive as a passive, and then not have to have him out. But the other nice thing too is that generally while you're looting stuff, it's definitely a-okay to have a companion out as well. So I just whip him out every time I need to loot a bunch of containers. And as you can see, he's also easy to please. He just, for some reason, does not like to go to Artam or Ivea. Hates Tales of Tribute, which is very ironic because he came out in the expansion afterwards of Necrom, crafting coffee and harvesting mushrooms. I have no idea why they decided to pick those things that he disliked, but I do find it kind of comical. But he does like when you complete his own companion quest, and just to give a quick highlight to these become available as you level up their rapport, so it's basically just an additional quest that you can do as they start to like you more. He also likes when you do daily enchanting crafting writs, master enchanting writs, actually doing the Necrom daily, going to Mundus Stones, and going to Cold Harbor Fargrave, the Brass Fortress, harvesting Sigic portals, finding leads, activating Alien Wells, doing a regular enchanting writ, stealing a ritual object out of the magical curiosity, finding new lore books, and etc., etc. He's actually easy to not make angry, but he is one of the more annoying ones if you do want to level up their rapport to get as a passive. Then next up, we have ourselves one of the best in slot companion perks in the game. Sharp's Patience. Fish bite at an increased rate and have a higher chance of being a trophy fish. If you know anything about the Elder Scrolls economy, you know why this is cracked. And if you're brand new, let me break it down for you. Getting fish is an essential gold making method to keep the machine of the economy going. Why is that? Well, a lot of things need to come from fish. In fact, Perfect Roe, the item that you have a rare chance of getting every time you fillet a fish, is one of the most essential consumables in the game. It's used for endgame PvP consumables, such as the more popular buff boots. It's used for XP potions. It's used in different crafting recipes. It's an essential item to the Elder Scrolls Online economy. And when you have a companion that when you fish, you can get fish at a higher rate, you are potentially going to make a lot of money. And trophy fish, while notably unable to be filleted, can still be then quick sold for additional profit. So you get basically a free little profit that you can sell to an NPC as you're going, making it one of the best gold methods that you could possibly hope to do outside of farming furnishing plans and opening containers for 12 hours. And you can see he's got some also unique ways to level up his rapport, and coming out in the Necrom update, you could definitely see he's got some Necrom themed things, but he dislikes using the outfit station, he dislikes when your gear breaks, he dislikes pickpocket beggars, he dislikes when you destroy an item with a sell value, and dislikes when you pay a bounty to guards. He likes harvesting, he likes fishing, he likes resurrecting people, he likes traveling using a way shrine, which, how does he travel using a way shrine? Doesn't he have his soul? Anywho, he likes when you repair your gear, he likes when you kill dwarven constructs, kill ghosts, catch rare fish, find heavy sacks, find a treasure chest, craft poisons, eat buff food, talk to Maik the Liar, visit a history, find a monster trophy, complete an Ashlander daily quest, and complete the world boss daily quest inside of Necrom. So very straightforward to level him up. This is one, though, that while the perk is fantastic, I don't think that you need to have this as a passive. And when I say passive, I don't think you need to not worry about maxing him out to where you would need to have this perk as an account-wide thing without having him following you. Because if you're at a fishing hole, just pull him out. There's no reason why you can't be using him in that situation. Versus some of these next two companions, you probably definitely do want their passives, even when you can't pull them out. Next up is Tanlorian. The perk that they have is actually incredible, and one that you actually generally want to have outside of being able to whip out any of your companions, because Tanlorian's finesse increase the time it takes to pick a lock, so you get additional lockpick time, but it also increased chance to force a lock and reduce the chance to break a lockpick. This is very helpful because oftentimes when I am pop locking a lock, I am doing so inside a dungeon or a trial where I can't have access to a companion. And even if you have maxed out Ledgerman and maxed out all the perks and things and possible ways to do it, I think the highest you can get for a master lock is like 70 to 80%, somewhere in there, meaning that 20% of the time you're still breaking lock picks. And thankfully, I farm furnishing plans a lot, so I get tons of lock picks, but this is actually a great one to have that would be account wide, especially on characters that don't have Ledgerman maxed out, because you're just getting an increase to pop locking on those characters. And if you're trying to actually go through the minigame because you find a rare chest in a good overworld area, well, now you've got additional time. And as we discussed earlier, they are currently unreleased, and both of the two new companions will come out in Update 44. If you're unfamiliar, Update 44 will drop at the end of October for PC. And before we break down the rapport values, just again, because they are unreleased, you'll gain access to both of the new companions on October 28th if you play on PC, and if you play on PlayStation or Xbox, you will gain access to them on November 13th. If you have ESO Plus, or you can purchase them directly from the Crown Store. And that's both of the two new companions. The reason I mention this is we're going to jump into Tanlorian's rapport, and it's still a bit hypothetical as to the likes and dislikes, but let's break down what we know so far. And it seems to be that they love Fighters Guild dailies, alchemy crafting writs dailies, craft furniture pieces, drink wine, successfully lockpick any container, use an alien well, visit Alinor, harvest flowers, use the antiquarian eye, absorb a sky shard, learn a recipe, craft wine, mount an Indrake, kill a Daedra, kill Marimore, obtain a verse in the Infinite Archive, obtain a scribing script, but they dislike going to the Mages Guild Hall. They dislike reading Mages Guild lore books, harvesting Nirnroot or Crimson Nirnroot. They don't like if you kill an Indrake or kill a Griffin, kill or visit Ivea rather, or visit Artam and or murder civilians. It's definitely important to mention their likes and dislikes because this is potentially a companion that you actually do want to max out and then get the account-wide passive for your characters. Next up, we have Zereth Var, which seems like he's going to have one of the coolest companion quests in the game. I'm not even dived into it because I just want to see what it's like to experience without reading it. But notably, their companion perk is that they highlight valuable bags of loot, notably heavy chests, in the overworld. But the other thing I want to break down from them too is I think that they're actually going to be one of the best tanking companions, and realistically, that's what we utilize our companions for, because he decreases his ability cooldowns by 3% and increases his health by 3%. And that is going to be very, very good for companions. Obviously, the difference between all of the companions are very minimal, but we're going to break down next what are some builds for companions, where can you go if you want to find additional resources for builds, how exactly it works. We're also going to then talk about experience for your companions and then how you can gain the account-wide perk passives. And this next section, we're going to go over gear traits and why specific gear traits are important, but also I'm going to be linking in the description Hack the Minotaur's website because he goes over every single companion and how you can build them for DPS, healing, and tanking, whereas I'm going to keep it a little briefer to kind of make this video not get too in-depth, because conceptually, once you see what traits you want, it becomes very straightforward to figure out, well, yeah, this is what I want to go with. So, there are only 9 companion gear traits. Aggressive, which increases their damage done. Augmented, which increases the duration of buffs and debuffs. Bolstered, which reduces the companion damage taken. Focused, which increases their critical strike. Prolific, which increases their ultimate generation. Quicken, which reduces their ability cooldown. Shattering, which increases their penetration. Soothing, which increases their healing done. And Vigorous, which increases their max health per piece. So when you learn how to build a companion, it becomes very easy, because if you want a good healer, well, I'll give you 5 guesses on which one you probably want to go with as your trait. If you said Soothing, you are correct, because that is the one that you want to go with. Now, tanking is a little bit different because you want a mixture of both vigorous and bolstered pieces, but what's missing from this equation is actually one that pairs well with all of the companions, and that is Quickened. Quickened you want, I would say, on at least 30 to 50% of all your pieces as possible, because that gives your companions the ability to utilize their abilities more often. And also, notably, whatever you put on their skill bar, that is what they're going to use. So if you're having a tanking companion and you have, options between different taunts, different heals, different, abilities, whatever you put on that bar is going to be what they have the ability to use. Meaning, if you want them to spam essentially two abilities, heal and taunt, for example, not that necessarily that you'd want to use just those two, that's what your companion is going to do on repeat. Because sometimes, if you do use a companion, they're going to lose taunt pretty frequently. But if you give them access to more abilities on their bar, that's what they're going to be focused on. And you will notice that the skill bar is replaced with an ability priority bar. This is important because how you order these things are pretty important, and I would focus on things in the front, such as taunts, because getting and keeping things taunted is very important. And then, two, you want to make sure that your companion is staying alive, so giving them their best target self ability next. This one reduces her incoming damage taken by 20% and granting a damage shield that absorbs 12.5% of their max health for 6 seconds is definitely their best one. So as you use companions, just note that it is a simplified version of our own abilities, our own gear, and everything else. And you can utilize that to kind of build these companions as you want. For example, if you want a really good healer that heals you, the number one ability priority you probably want is, hey, heal the idiot that I'm following around. If you're using a DPS, then you want to make sure that you are using the DPS version. And the other thing too is as you look at your companions, what skills and stuff that they are using is pretty much going to be solely inside of their class. There will be some discrepancies of which, abilities people use over another, but at the end of the day, most of you will be able to look at it and just tell because, for example, Provoke is a taunt. It's great for tanking. Solar Ward is a shield. Holy Ground is a heal. On Guard is another defensive bolster, and Blessed Sacrament is another way that they're able to heal themselves, and then their ultimate, which they will only ever have access to one to. Building companions is very straightforward. Again, just focus on getting some quickened pieces and then get whatever type of companion you want to go along with it. Whether it's damage increase pieces, whether it's healing increase pieces, or if it's max health and or damage reduction pieces. Next up, I just wanted to break down experience because experience is unique for companions because how much experience you get as a player actually goes to your companion. Now that seems weird, and to be completely honest, it is a little weird, but that means that any XP method that you would do, such as the Alakir Desert Dolmens, is a good XP method for your companions, but there are some caveats. If you're a lower level, you're getting less XP because you need less XP to level up, meaning that you're actually not going to be as good to level up your companion because you just want tons of experience coming into you. And there's a couple good ways to do that. We're going to break down a couple of them, but notably, if you're a newer player and something like the Witches Festival is going to be active here in just a few weeks, farming Alakir Desert Dolmens is great experience, and it will then funnel to your companion. And all of the XP boosts that you get, Sigic Ambrosias and otherwise, will then funnel also to your companion. Another area that you can see people actively farming right now as we go to record this video is Spellscar. Spellscar is a very popular area inside of Craglorn where you can essentially hoard a ton of Atronauts and other plus things together and kill them in quick succession. It's one of the best XP per hour methods, and notably doesn't require you to have access to a DLC zone. But the physical best XP per hour, which will stand whether or not you're doing this with a companion, with a friend, or you're doing this solo and you want XP for yourself, is Black Rose Prison. Farm the second round on repeat. It is mathematically the best XP per hour. When the Shield Bearer comes out and you die to them, it repeats the second round, and you can get tons of experience like this. I'm going to link below my XP guide just because this isn't an XP video, so I don't want to go into all the ways you can farm XP because that obviously is its own 30-minute video topic, in some aspects, but that video does break down XP methods based on what you have access to DLC-wise and whatnot. It gives a more in-depth guide on experience, whereas companions are simplistic. Whenever you gain experience and they're out, then they get a portion of that experience. And Sarif talked a lot in this video about having the account-wide perks and why that might be helpful, especially if you're trying to increase your lockpicking chance. Every time you open a treasure chest or pickpocket somebody, you want a little bit of a bonus reward. If you want a permanent fishing buff across all your characters, there's some great options. So what does that look like? Well, all you need to do is get their keepsake for that companion. So by having this keepsake, this works as an account-wide perk where essentially it calculates me as always having Isabelle out on my character. So all you need to do is complete the Isabelle's companion quest line, which is very straightforward. You just need to go unlock Isabelle, and then as you level up her rapport, she's going to have you do different missions for her that are very brief. Then you just need to make sure that you do Isabelle's favor, which is just some of the things that she likes doing: accept a duel, visit the Undaunted Enclave, etc., etc. Then you just need to summon her at max level, and then you just need to obtain max rapport. It's not super difficult. You just need to think which ones are the best for you to unlock at max rapport. And so in alphabetical order of the released ones, what are the best ones to unlock and fully max out? Well, Azander's great because you might just be picking up things in the overworld through barrels, containers, etc., and you may get very rare items like treasure maps, which can be very valuable. Surveys, you can get praxises and other crafting recipes. That's pretty great. Ember, if you're somebody that hates the guild trader system and likes to steal on multiple characters to max out the stolen goods that you can get per day, she's a great option. And then otherwise, Miri is an okay option just because you're going to find yourself opening lots of chests pretty frequently. And then Sharp as Night is basically one of those ones where it's like, yes, having an additional fishing chance is great, but also if I know that I'm going to go fishing, I could just pull him out. So I wouldn't necessarily worry about him. But of the two new companions, both of those are very good because heavy sacks are very annoying to see in the overworld, and an increased pop lock chance on new characters is going to be fantastic, as well as an increase the duration of lockpicking and then reducing the chance of breaking a lockpick. Those are great perks that you'll be able to get across all of your companions, and if you wanted to max them out, they will then be account-wide while they're not currently following you around. But everyone, thank you guys so much again for watching. We're going to have some great linked resources below if you want to copy some specific companion builds. We're going to put them down there because this was more of a general overview, as well as our XP guide for ways that you as the player can farm experience, and then by extension, you can then farm experience with the companion. If you guys would like a dedicated video on companion farming experience, I'm more than willing to do it. I just don't want it to become too bloated inside of this video. And then if you would like to be entered into our 3 giveaway drawings, all you have to do to enter is be subscribed, and for 2 additional entries, follow on both Twitch and Twitter. Second thing is leave a random comment in the comments below. And third thing is look for a hidden word to be flashed upon the screen. If you're the first person to comment that word, you'll get picked up like this little cat that thinks that she could sneak up on me and sit on my lap while I was recording. No, you'll win a gift card. But thank you guys so much again for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jakeclips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.